Hello and welcome to day 112 of Dungeon 23, the series where we make a room of a mega dungeon every day for a year. Now this room is very simple, but before we get into it, there is something I forgot to mention the other day, and that is this special captured creature, one that's in every floor. I forgot to talk about not just the lock, because it is just a cage that prevents it from teleporting around, obviously. That's what all the cages do. And it has a DC 22 lock, which I believe I mentioned in the last time. What I didn't talk about was how the actual frog behaves. This phase frog, this magical teleporting, dimension shifting frog. Now, in the original context of the monster, it needed to be very wet to be able to teleport, or to phase shift, to do its ethereal jump. And I don't want to have to make a new mechanic to keep track of that, so it's currently dry, and if you make it wet, it's going to be happy. So I have right here, the phase frog is dehydrated and will be hostile if it is released, unless it is properly moistened. Basically, if you unlock it while it's in here, it's going to attack you. But if you pour some water on it, get it all wet and nice, then it will basically only attack insects. And it's not going to be hostile towards you, really. It may attack some of the undead, but primarily just attack bugs. And it won't try to, die fighting. It'll just behave like a normal animal does that's doesn't want to interfere with humans. It'll try hunting the insects. If it gets cornered, or if it eats all of them, or there's none left around, or it gets in danger, serious danger, then it's just going to hop to the ethereal plane, and it's not going to come back unless the party does something to bring it back, some really good checks, and also doing stuff something with that fly toy that was in the previous room, or one of the previous rooms, or makes an offering of the spiders or whatever, or uses spells to try to communicate with it, or just any number of things that the party could come up with to kind of bring it back. Otherwise, it's going to be in the material plane, and then it's just not an issue for the remainder of the dungeon, unless something comes up later where we bring it back or something like that. But that's basically the way this guy works. Now, going to our actual... my mouse is messed up because I had to move some things around. So for our actual thing of the day, it's this room here, which is an exit lever. As established in the first episode we had them, where they all have to be flicked at the same exact time for the exit to open. It requires a lot of coordination and planning. Now, the way this guy works, or this room works, is that the room basically is under the effect of the darkness spell. Magical darkness, you can't see anything. You can't even see through it with dark vision unless you have Devil's Sight, which I think warlocks get. I don't think at this level, but it's a possibility. I have the DC for finding the exit lever as 22 for the passive, and then 17 for the active with disadvantage because you can't really see anything, it's dark. Because when a passive skill has disadvantage, it's +5 to the difficulty. Inversely, if they have advantage and it's -5, it's just that rolling it twice feels more satisfying. And I'm actually going to allow the magic to be dispelled. But let's make that DC, let's see here. Yeah, here we are. DC to dispel. Darkness is... Let's see here. Darkness is, I believe, a 3rd level spell, or is it 2nd? Either way, we'll say it's upcast, so we're going to make the DC 15. Just so they have to actually expend resources to do it. And it's going to be easier if they're expending resources, but not necessarily very easy. Not as, low as in when you cast Dispel Magic, it's instantly gone. Because they probably don't even have it at this moment, because it's a 3rd level spell, and this is only 4th level, and they don't get 3rd level spells until level 5. But there's a few scrolls of it running around, floating around somewhere, so it's always a possibility. And yeah, that is basically our room for today. Just a very simple skill challenge, skill check, Skill challenge is used in different ways than skill check, but that's more of like a lingo issue. It's an opportunity for characters with good investigation or perception to kind of look for stuff and do some investigating and feeling around. And that's basically it. So if you want to see more in-depth things, more carefully constructed things, more challenges, wacky creatures, interesting magic items, puzzles of that nature, then like, comment, subscribe, because they'll show up in your recommendations more often. There's also a bell icon thing that's supposed to notify you, but I don't know if it does, so try it. Or just come back tomorrow. It's a daily event. So yeah, I apologize for the poor quality. It's not going to improve.